When you die, where do you go? Hey everyone, how are you all doing? So today is the day I usually go out. The only problem is I don't have a car. Most of you know our other car got damaged, so it's in the shop right now. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put the link down below. And my wife is gone today all day long, and the kids are out, camp and various things, so I'm gonna have to take this mode of transportation. Yep, that's my bike. I haven't ridden this bike in a very long time, so I'm gonna get the dust off of it and the cobwebs, and I need to put some air in the tires. All right, bike's ready to go. Got my helmet, I got my backpack. I'm gonna take you on a little journey now. This is kind of a place I haven't taken you on before. It's a very unique place. So let's go on the journey and find out what it is. Wow, many people buried here. Some was buried here since the mid 1800s. Very interesting, this great work of life and death. Very soon, this will be us. Zen Master Seung Sahn died in 2004. And usually a great master, when he's passing, just before death, usually they write a poem. So many people were talking about what Zen Master Seung Sahn said. What was his last words? And there was actually many arguments about that. And I remember being in Hong Kong with Zen Master De Kuang during a Dharma talk. And Zen Master De Kuang was talking about how people were arguing about his last words. And he said, "Do you want to know what his last words were? I'll tell you right now." The wheels of samsara goes around and around and around. It's very interesting being here at the cemetery. I've been thinking a lot about death lately. Many of you know I was in Oregon recently, celebrating my dad's 1 year since he passed. I remember when I was with him before he died, he was very surprised. A couple of things. First, of how fast this life goes, right? We all think we have all of this time to do these things. We want to get these things or get to this level, but it just goes by really fast. And most of us are experiencing that. Another thing that he said that was interesting is, how could this be happening to me, right? You know, since I've known him, or at least I can remember, he's always been this very strong physically and mentally, you know, with his presence. And to see him so weak, actually him seeing himself so weak and dying, was eye-opening. I remember before hospice came to his house, you know, he thought he still had a chance to get his strength back and continue doing the things that he wanted to do. When hospice came, the first thing he did was ask the nurse, "Am I going to get my strength back?" And she replied, "Absolutely not." Now, I know it was a very direct answer, but that was something he needed, because once he heard that, he was able to let go. Then I noticed when, you know, we started to take care of him and giving him very little doses of medication, he was actually able to sleep. And then when he started to sleep, he passed very quickly. And all of this made me realize is we're only guaranteed one thing in life, right? I know like a lot of us are kind of in denial about this death and how fast it's going to appear. So we're not really guaranteed anything, right? We're not guaranteed a relationship. We're not guaranteed a 401k. We're not guaranteed our career. We're not guaranteed our health. Soon this body will disappear. But there is one thing we're guaranteed, and that is death. Something Zen Master Seung Sahn would say that I thought was kind of humorous, but is really strong. He said, there's actually only two types of people in this world. We think there's many different types of people, right? But he said there's only two kinds of people. Soon die, later die. And the reason why many of us are in denial of death and how fast it's going to come is because of fear. Fear controls our life. Fear causes suffering for ourselves and others. So in our Zen practice, we ask very deeply, what is this thing that has fear? What is this thing that will die? Where does fear come from? Where does death come from? In the human root, we ask, when you are born, where did you come from? And when you die, where do you go? When we ask these questions deeply, with sincerity and openness, all of these questions in life boil down to one thing. What am I? So when we perceive that question closely, we return to the place before I. Before I, there are no opposites. There is no life, there is no death, there is no coming, and there is no going. In my book, I talk about this man who was in the hospice dying. And he was talking to a family member. And he was saying to this family member, wow, I've done many things in this life. I traveled the world. I had a wonderful career. I had a beautiful family, very nice house. But what did I really do in this life? And he was left with this question. And all of us have this question inside, even the Buddha. What is the point of all of this thing? In the human root poem, it begins with coming empty-handed, going empty-handed, right? We're going to gather a lot of things in this life, but we cannot keep any of it. When we die, we cannot take any of it with us. Okay, I had to move my location since many people were coming and setting up for the funeral there. So, Zen is the great work of life and death. I've been talking about this human root poem, and at the end of the poem, it talks about there's one thing which always remains clear. It's pure and clear, not dependent on life and death. So what is this one pure and clear thing? When we become one, experience this one pure and clear thing, then everything is clear. So birth is just birth. Life is just life. Death is just death. We investigate this fear. We investigate this great sadness. Everything that appears, where does it come from? It comes from this I. What is this I? Don't know. Don't know is the one pure and clear thing, is our true self. The great work of life and death is understanding how to become a human being. All right, those are my thoughts for the day. I have to go. There's many cars coming for this funeral. So I will see you soon.